A further comment on the walled cities. Everybody understands that Yerushalayim was a walled city. But not all of Yerushalayim today was part of that original walled city. When it comes to Yerushalayim, you still see the wall. And you know where it was, even though that wall that we see was a later wall, but the remnants of the earlier walls also exist around Yerushalayim. So there's another halacha, and that is if you're in a house that is samuch, near the wall, or continuum from the wall, or near you're able to see the wall from wherever you are, then you're also considered to be part of Yerushalayim. As a result, there are two anomalous things that happened in modern times in Yerushalayim. One is the fact that the status of the neighborhoods in Yerushalayim change over time. Years ago, Bayit V'Gan, which most of you probably have been to, Bayit V'Gan was outside of Yerushalayim. It was farmland. You couldn't, you had to go through the backwoods in order to get to Bayit V'Gan. Eventually, all the city was built up until Bayit V'Gan. All the city was built up until Bayit V'Gan, and today, in Bayit V'Gan, they read the Megillah on the 15th. The same is true about Har Nof, and the same is true about Ramot, and the same is true about the Vei Yaakov, etc. They're far away from the wall, but they represent a continuous building, houses going from the wall of Yerushalayim to these far-flung neighborhoods of Yerushalayim, and therefore they have to read the Megillah on the 15th. The second anomalous thing, which I think is noteworthy, is that where the central bus station is in Yerushalayim, across the street from the bus station there's a Beit Knesset called Eitz Chaim, which was the Beit Knesset in which the Rav was Rav Tukachinsky. Rav Tukachinsky is known because he was the author of the Luach that's used in Batei Knesset, right? The Luach that's used in Batei Knesset. That shul, when it was originally built, was way out of Yerushalayim, way away from the walls of Yerushalayim. So he read the Megillah in that shul on the 14th day of Adar. And that minhag is maintained to this very day. And people who happen to be in Yerushalayim, but live, for example, in Tel Aviv, they live in Tel Aviv, those people are able to hear the Megillah in Yerushalayim on the 14th, in this Beit Knesset called Eitz Chaim, because after all, they're going back to Tel Aviv that very night. They will sleep in Tel Aviv, and therefore they're considered to be residents of Tel Aviv for the Megillah reading. However, they may get back to Tel Aviv very late. There may not be an opportunity to read the Megillah in a properly honorable fashion, and therefore this service is provided by Beit Knesset Eitz Chaim for the people who are interested in hearing the Megillah at that night. So today, people in Yerushalayim definitely don't listen to the Megillah in Eitz Chaim, but people from outside of Yerushalayim who are going back to wherever they came from and will sleep outside of Yerushalayim that night can hear the Megillah being read on the 14th.